there's so many golf courses, and now they've realized there's too many golf courses. And it costs a lot of money to operate a golf course, to fertilize it, maintain it, staff it, do things that need to be done. If you go back to the 60s, the only thing important on a golf course really were the greens. Everything else, Bacon Park, for example, didn't even have water irrigation until the 80s, and it was pretty terrible. And then we actually put in a new irrigation system in 2014. And when I was a kid, when I worked there, I used to water the greens and the tees. I had 18 hoses and 18 sprinklers, and I used to hook them up to the faucet, and all I did was move the sprinklers at night from the front of the green to the back of the green.
Do you think of that when you walk on that course now?
Oh yeah, it's things happen. I feel like, what really needed to be done, I've accomplished, but I don't think any of that would happen without God. I just know in my heart that, and I spend a lot of money there, but, I don't have any bad habits like drugs or gambling or liquor or women or stuff like that. So, I spent my money on that, because it's future generations will enjoy what I've done there.
What do you want children, when they come there, kids, what do you want them to get from that experience?
A place that they want to come back to. I see it, I love to see a family there and see a 5-year-old kid carrying a golf bag that's maybe a little bit bigger than the child. So, I know what a kid is like when they go there. They want to go back. And to them, the condition of the course really doesn't mean that much because they don't really understand it back then. To them, it's all green, and it's a sign of freedom. Because, when you live in a neighborhood, your yard is only so big. You can't play in your neighbor's yard. You can, but you know what I mean. You can't do whatever you want to do, but at a golf course, it's all wide open. You have 150 acres, and they just look at it and they say, wow, So to them, it's a lot of freedom. They get to be in a big, wide open space and, hitting a ball, putting a ball, just riding around with their parents or their brothers or their friends playing golf. What could be better than that?
Exactly.
You
What's your favorite memory of Bacon Park? Do you have one single story that just pops in your head when I say that?
Oh, there's lots of stories. Lots of stories. Hey, buddy. There's lots of stories. Here, you want that? Get it. And I used to walk to the golf course with my little brother Danny. I was 11 and he was 9. We would leave Mayfair on Dale Drive, and it was like a 4-minute car ride, so I guess it was a 15-minute walk. But we would leave at 6 in the morning. It was dark, and we would get to the ball stadium right there, the ballpark, and it was lighted, so we would turn the light on there, because back then there was no Lake Mayor, there was no Humane Society. It was just one road going to another road going to the golf course. It was dark. We were like in the woods. When we first moved to Mayfair, several of the roads hadn't been even paved yet. So, it's pretty cool, but we, would walk to the golf course, which is totally unheard of for a 9-year-old and 11-year-old to walk to anywhere at 6 o'clock in the morning. So when we got there in the wintertime, Shorty would tell us to go get a couple logs for the fire, because we had an real old clubhouse. It was built in the 20s, actually built in 26, and so we had a stack of wood out there, and we did whatever they wanted us to do, and we're happy to do it. I always felt privileged. It's kind of funny, but I felt privileged because there were like 100 kids out there, and I don't know why Tommy Ryle picked me to offer a job to me, because there were so many other kids he could offer it to. So I always wondered why did he pick me, to work there. So I felt like,
You never asked him?
well, I don't really remember, to be honest with you, whether I asked him or I think he asked me if I wanted to work there. But I was a hustler. I worked. You could tell. I was, he didn't make a bad choice. And there was another kid out there. His name was Tony Reardon. That's done real well in life. And we both look up to Tommy Ryle for our first job. We worked there together. Tony was a year older than me. So we were happy to be there. And, we saw, all walks of life. And, the people that were out there were just here to play golf and have fun. They weren't there to, Savannah was a very racist town back in the 60s. We didn't see that out there.